the Denver Nuggets. And I think when we're talking about the Nuggets right now, really the biggest question is, what do you anticipate them getting from Jamal Murray and from Michael Porter Jr. as those two guys are coming back from injuries?
I think everyone needs to understand that this is going to be a months-long process. I mean, the last impression really that the NBA has of Jamal Murray is him going buck wild. We're going to throw in some Western terms uh,
Yeehaw.
in the bubble. And so to expect Jamal Murray to come back after 18 months tearing his ACL in his left knee is unrealistic. And to expect him to perform anywhere near that level. So, I'm trying to hedge. Maybe by December, maybe by the All-Star break, we start to see a consistent Jamal Murray. And, in talking to Michael Malone and talking to Jamal and Michael Porter Jr., they are approaching this from a big picture perspective. It doesn't really matter to them if Jamal Murray is available on a given night or the second night of a back-to-back or 3 and 4 and he can't play. This is very much like a load management regular season team. They are looking at this like, let's enter the postseason on a high with everybody available. Given how snake bitten this team has been, really for the last 2 postseasons, that is their primary impetus in kind of approaching this year. With Michael Porter Jr., I know he has a long history of back injuries. He obviously missed most of last year, which is with his 3rd back surgery. He's actually looked unbelievable and has had 0 limitations. The initial plan this preseason, Michael Malone wanted to rest him one of the games. Porter goes to Michael Malone and says, hey, coach, I feel great. I want to keep this rhythm going. And if you really pay close attention to Michael Porter Jr., his movements, his mobility does not look inhibited at all. He's shooting the lights off the ball. And
There's
so
no lights
maybe,
on the ball.
yeah, I know. I kind of screwed that one up. But is it the cover off the ball? Whatever. Don't disregard.
When he
But
shoots it, it's going in a lot.
it is. I mean, I think he hit 13 3-pointers in the preseason, shooting something close to 50% from 3. He's really the X factor for this team. When he hits and can space the floor, this team is devastating around Nikola Jokic. And so I think that, maybe there's a little bit of higher optimism that Porter can play 65, 70 games this year because of those 0 limitations. But with Jamal Murray, they're going to be careful. And so what we see of the Nuggets now is not close to what we're going to see of them come March and April.
It's interesting going into training camp. I'm looking at those two guys and I'm saying, okay, Jamal Murray's 18 months removed from a torn ACL. There was hope that he was going to come back last year, wasn't mentally ready, but I felt like he was a better bet going into the season than Michael Porter Jr. simply because when you talk about any back surgery, much less a guy's 3rd back surgery, I mean, that is like, 5-alarm fire type of concern. But as you said, Porter looks like, I'm not going to say a superstar, but certainly a complimentary star. He's moving well. If there were lights on the ball, they would no longer be there after he shot it. I mean, he's lighting it up.
He is
Murray,
lighting it up. There are
there you
lights
go.
on the ball.
Now there are after he shot it. But Murray, I guess I don't know if you want to call it a tweak, hamstring soreness, whatever it was, had a little hamstring issue during camp, wasn't able to play into the second half of any of those preseason games. So unfortunately, they're going into the season with, I don't know if it's even more questions about Murray, but more patience will be required for him to build up. Now, the Nuggets operated this offseason like a team that has legitimate championship aspirations. I really liked what they did in the offseason, bringing in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who I think is that, 3 and D, also cutting type of guy, just that, he's been a championship role player. He has that kind of experience. He has that kind of a game. Bruce Brown, who I think is going to be really interesting. We know he can guard. I know he shot at 40% last year from 3, pretty low volume. I'm not going to call him a 40% 3-point shooter, but does a lot of things offensively. Like he can run pick and roll with Jokic, where he's the roll man, and he's basically like a shorter version of Draymond Green.